Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Please remain with me for the next 10 to 15 minutes as I highlight the latest news events and provide commentary for February 9th, 2026 regarding local, regional, and international security and political updates. Yes, people, this is not just about news reports. I give commentary. I voice my opinion on these different various issues. Starting off locally in Trinidad and Tobago, the right direction. Prime Minister launches Trinidad and Tobago redevelopment program to transform the nation. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar officially launched the Trinidad and Tobago redevelopment program, a comprehensive national initiative aimed at reshaping communities, boosting economy, and redefining the country's development trajectory. The Prime Minister outlined the government's vision for transformative change that will benefit all citizens and position the nation for long-term prosperity. Now, this sounds all well and wonderful, and I do know that whatever revenues generated by the Kamala Persad administration, most of it will be spent into developing infrastructure, improving our healthcare, education system, national security, even tourism, probably building or the starting of the manufacturing sector as well. What I continue to have an issue with, Madam Prime Minister, is that you are forcing the population to have to generate or provide the resources, the revenue needed in order to recover Trinidad and Tobago, even though you promised that's not what you were going to do. You were not going to place that financial burden upon the backs of Trinidadians, and yet you continue to increase fines, find new fees to impose and implement, double those fees, double those fines. You even implemented a new tax, the landlord tax, when all you had to do was ensure that these people registered to get a BIR number and so forth, so that they could be able to pay taxes. And once it crosses the taxable income, they pay their income tax. That's all you needed to do. Why target the landlords in such a specific way? But as I said before, let's be clear, as much as I disagree with you, the imposing of all these fees and taxes and fines and so forth, which is something totally against what she promised during the election campaign, I do know one thing. When this revenue is generated, it will be utilized to be able to develop Trinidad and Tobago.
For every great project, there must be a blueprint, a clear plan. And above all, we must have a vision for a better, brighter, more prosperous future. And so it is my government's mission to improve the quality of life for all, not just for today, but for our generations to come.
Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has unveiled the country's redevelopment program, a blueprint that aims to rebuild and reimagine Trinidad and Tobago. This project, she says, is not merely about designing spaces, but shaping the future of Trinidad and Tobago.
From revitalized town sectors to modern transport corridors, from sustainable housing to vibrant public spaces, we are building not just with concrete and steel, but we also are building with care, creativity, and conviction.
The Prime Minister assured the system was designed to benefit all citizens.
Jobs will be created, businesses will thrive, families will flourish, and our youth will see in every new building, in every restored street, a future which includes them.
Prime Minister Persad-Bissessar shared some major projects that will transform the city of San Fernando.
In the south, a new dawn breaks in San Fernando. San Fernando will shine once more. The waterfront redevelopment marks the most ambitious investment ever made in South Trinidad. The development spans over 400 acres, as Bijan told us, transforming the city into a vibrant nexus of innovation, culture, and care. From the boardwalk to Lady Hills Avenue, San Fernando is being reimaged and reimagined.
The Prime Minister assured that Tobago is not being forgotten. She said while Trinidad's blueprint was unveiled today, the one for Tobago will be revealed soon.
In a coordinated fire prevention exercise, teams from 3 regions were mobilized yesterday to reduce fire risks ahead of the dry season. CRT volunteers working alongside disaster management unit personnel carried out fire trail cutting at Gravesna Presbyterian Primary in Sangre Grande, Marabella North Secondary in San Fernando, and along the western perimeter of the Point Fortin Old Area Hospital. The initiative forms part of ongoing efforts to safeguard communities being proactive instead of reactive, like PNM was always reactive, and critical infrastructure, with authorities emphasizing preparedness and inter-regional collaboration as key to mitigating bush and grass fires during the dry season. Officials say the work, though physically demanding, is essential to staying ahead of the potential fire threats. If credit when credit is due, one thing with the UNC, yet again, they're always proactive in trying to prevent issues from taking place, unlike the PNM, who just sit back and allow everything to fall apart and then say, it wasn't me. Economist Richard Rambaran says Guyana would have faced the fallout of unsustainable promises and reckless oil fund spending had it not been for the PPP civic government's fiscal discipline. While this commitment to responsibility may not resonate with everyone, he commended the administration for staying the course, noting that Budget 2026, along with those of the past 5 years, has kept Guyana firmly on a path toward building generational wealth, development at an exponential rate, I will add, and while also barely, if they did at all, place the financial burdens upon the backs of the citizens in order to be able to grow the economy. The focus on using the energy industry as the backbone of the economy to be able to diversify, invest into agriculture and education and even tourism. The Jamaican government says it is intensifying efforts to ensure that persons with disabilities are fully integrated into the national discourse and are able to access justice with dignity and opportunity. Good news coming out from Jamaica again. State Minister in the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Marissa Dalrymple Philibert, made the pledge while addressing participants at the 10th staging of the UNDP and Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs Legal Aid Justice Fair for Persons with Disabilities. What a long name. Held yesterday at the Spanish Town Bus Terminal in St. Catherine. Once again, that was good news. And that's why gradually I'm beginning to like Andrew Holness as a Prime Minister. I still do believe, I know I say this very often, I still do believe that his style of governance, his performance was quite mediocre for the past 10 years. I think it was 2 terms he has been in office thus far. This will be his third. And therefore he needs to up his game. But a lot of what he says and his actions since the Hurricane Melissa, I'm quite impressed about it. A 10,000 square foot medical dome capable of housing up to 100 beds is expected to arrive in Jamaica by the end of February to ease pressure at Cornwall Regional Hospital, which remains under strain following damage caused by Hurricane Melissa. Now, this is what you call being your brother's keeper. And I'm sure, hopefully, they're not going to place the financial burden on the backs of the citizens. The facility will include beds, X-ray, the expense for this. The facility will include beds, X-ray systems, autoclaves, and other medical equipment, all provided at no cost. So you see, thankfully, thank God, it's not at no cost. This is what the entire world should be doing. Stop focusing just on Gaza, Gaza, Gaza. Help us here in the Caribbean as well. Now for the interesting facts segment. South Korea's often called the sea parting phenomenon. For a short period of time, usually around 1 hour, the sea level drops enough to reveal a natural land pathway between 2 islands. During this brief window, people are able to walk across the seabed as if the ocean has temporarily stepped aside. Sounds like what took place in the Bible, right? But there's a difference too, in the sense that there was no timing for that event to take place there. Nobody knew it would have happened at that specific point in time, while the Egyptians were pursuing the Hebrews while they were trying to escape after being released by the Pharaoh. But anyhow, this event is caused by extreme tidal movements rather than anything supernatural, the person went on to say. But as I said before, in this case, it's not supernatural. In the case of the Bible, it was. The gravitational pull of the moon and the sun aligns in such a way that it creates very low tides in this region. When this happens, water retreats dramatically, uncovering a stretch of land that is normally hidden beneath the sea. This pathway can be several kilometers long and wide, enough for thousands of people to walk safely when conditions are right. One of the most famous locations for this phenomenon is between Jindo Island and Modo Island. Each year, the event draws large crowds, including locals and tourists who gather to experience the walk. Many people collect shellfish along the way, while others simply enjoy the rare opportunity to stand in the middle of the sea. The atmosphere often feels festive, with guided walks, safety steams, and cultural celebrations are organized around the events. Of course, a lot of scientists will say, well, that is probably what took place at the Red Sea. But it doesn't seem as though history doesn't show that event or that type of event ever takes place in that location. So people, this is not a miracle, but what took place in the Bible definitely was. Closing off now with a travel segment, St. Petersburg, Russia. This is a stunning European-style city founded in 1703 by Peter the Great, known for its intricate canal system, grand imperial architecture, and vibrant cultural scene. As Russia's cultural capital, it offers world-class art at the Hermitage, iconic cathedrals like St. Isaac's, and the magical White Nights during summer. Best time to visit? Summer, June to September. The best time to visit characterized by long days and white nights in June, where the sun barely sets. Wow. Also winter, November to April. Cold and snowy with freezing temperatures, but offering a picturesque, festive atmosphere, especially around the New Year. Folks, that brings us to the end of today's headline news. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Subscription is so important. Stay blessed and stay safe, most of all, in Jesus' name.